Take your Sacagawea dollars with you. I'll give you till 3. 1. You stole my bed! That's my... I'll do anything you say! Anything!
All right. Let's start from the beginning to sound smart. You ever meet someone and think, wow, this person is a walking cry for help? That's Moe, the bartender from The Simpsons. At first glance, Moe seems like your classic background character, the guy who serves drinks, throws out a few insults, and exists to be laughed at from a safe, emotional distance. But here's the kicker, Moe isn't just some punchline. Beneath his gruff voice, greasy comb-over, and perpetual scowl, Moe is one of the saddest, most complex, and dare I say, relatable characters in all of Springfield. And it's not just because life keeps kicking him when he's down, it's because as adults we start to see pieces of ourselves in Moe.
Yeah, just a minute, I'll check. B.O. problem? B.O. problem. Come on, guys, do I have a B.O. problem here?
You sure do!
The insecurities, the missed chances, the loneliness we hide behind sarcasm and forced smiles. Moe is a reminder that adulthood isn't always the dream we imagined as kids. It's a grind. A slow, inevitable march through regret, rejection, and unfulfilled dreams. Somewhere along that march, we realize something terrifying. We all have a little Moe in us. Let's start at the surface level. Moe is the owner of Moe's Tavern, a place that's less local watering hole and more last stop before rock bottom. His clientele isn't exactly the most well-adjusted bunch. Homer Simpson, Barney Gumble, Lenny, Carl. These aren't people having a casual after-work drink. They're escaping their problems, and Moe's Tavern is their sanctuary. But Moe, he's not just serving the drinks, he's drowning in them. He's right there with his customers, except he's trapped behind the bar, watching the world pass him by one empty glass at a time. In the episode Flaming Moe's, Moe stumbles upon Homer's idea for a flaming cocktail and turns it into a massive success. The place is packed, the bar's booming, and for once, Moe is the guy everyone wants to know. It's that fleeting moment of validation we all crave, that chance to prove to the world, hey, I'm not a total failure. But, of course, it all falls apart. Moe betrays Homer by stealing credit for the drink, and just as quickly as his success begins, it crashes and burns.
The secret ingredient is...
Homer, no!
Cough syrup. Nothing but plain, ordinary, over-the-counter children's cough syrup.
Shoot. Thank you, Mr. Nutball. Gotta go,
Here's the
Moe.
brutal
Tough luck.
part. Moe doesn't lose everything because of bad luck or some outside force. He loses it because of his own fear and insecurity. He sabotages himself. How many times have we seen this play out in real life? That creeping doubt that whispers, you're not good enough, you don't deserve this. It's one of the most painfully human things about Moe. He's trapped in a cycle of self-destruction, driven by a deep-rooted belief that he's destined to fail. In Pygmalion, Moe undergoes plastic surgery and suddenly becomes handsome. For the first time, he's admired and respected. He's a new man, receiving the attention he's always craved.
Oh, I was just a stupid kid back then, and I feel terrible about hurting you. Will you accept my apology?
Apology?
But this isn't a fairy tale transformation. Even with a new face, Moe can't escape his old demons. He sabotages his fresh start because deep down, he doesn't believe he deserves happiness. And that's the real tragedy of Moe. It's not that the world rejects him, it's that he rejects himself. This fear of happiness resonates with all of us at some level. Friedrich Nietzsche once said,
He who has a why can bear almost any how.
Moe's problem is that he doesn't believe he has a why. Every fleeting glimpse of happiness is overshadowed by his own sense of unworthiness. He's so accustomed to misery that comfort feels like a trap, a cruel joke waiting to unravel. I'll admit, I've been there. That moment where something good happens, and instead of enjoying it, you're waiting for it to fall apart. You sabotage it before the universe can beat you to it. Watching Moe go through this is a stark reminder of how often we let our insecurities define us.
Oh. Okay, well, we'll just be going then.
Well, hey, you guys can come with us.
No. He said Simpson family. I mean, it sounded exciting, but, we don't want to intrude.
Thanks for understanding.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see ya.
Rejection is practically Moe's middle name. He wears it like armor, cracking self-deprecating jokes before anyone else can get a shot in. His appearance is an endless source of mockery on the show. Moe isn't just unattractive, he's described as downright monstrous. Characters have called him a gargoyle, a troll, and even compared him to a melted candle. And Moe, he's fully aware of how the world sees him. He doesn't live in blissful ignorance. He's drowning in brutal self-awareness. What makes it worse is that Moe plays the role of the emotional punching bag for everyone around him.
I'd like to introduce Ned Flanders, my best friend.
Hey, I don't want no people in here with their evils of alcohol rap. Wait.
Homer shows up at Moe's tavern to vent about his life. Need to complain about your marriage? Moe's your guy? Want to escape reality for a few hours? Moe's got a drink with your name on it? But when Moe needs someone, when he's struggling to hold it together, the bar is empty. His loneliness is so baked into his character that no one even notices it anymore. Not the characters in the show, and not us, the viewers. In the Springfield connection, Moe literally begs Marge for help during a police sting, and she just walks away. It's played for laughs, but it's brutally real. How many times have you been that person, the one who listens to everyone else's problems, only to realize no one's ever really listening to yours? Moe exists in that space, a constant giver in a world that takes without ever giving back. But rejection isn't even the worst part. The real tragedy is the slow, agonizing death of Moe's dreams. Moe wasn't always the bitter bartender we know today. He had dreams once. He wanted to be a boxer, a performer, a successful businessman. But one by one, those dreams died. And instead of chasing new ones, Moe just stopped. He retreated into the familiar misery of his bar because at least there, the disappointment was predictable.
Here's the deal, Grandpa. A guy I think was an explorer left this in the bar one night. It may be a map to ancient treasure.
One of the most gut-wrenching moments comes in Mo Baby Blues, where Moe accidentally bonds with Maggie. For a brief, fleeting moment, Moe has a purpose. He's not just Moe the bartender, he's Uncle Moe, protector of the innocent. It's a glimpse into the life Moe could have had, a life filled with love and connection. But it doesn't last. Moe's insecurities drag him back into his dark routine, and that flicker of happiness vanishes. It's this cycle, hope, followed by disappointment, that makes Moe so deeply relatable. How many of us have let go of our dreams because life got in the way? How many of us have settled into something safe, something familiar, because the unknown felt too risky? Albert Camus once wrote, "The struggle itself is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy." Moe is the anti-Sisyphus. He's the man who gave up pushing the rock, choosing instead to sit at the bottom of the hill and drink. And then there's the darker side of Moe, the side we often laugh at without realizing how bleak it truly is. His failed, his casual references to loneliness and self-harm. In Bart Sells His Soul, Moe mentions writing a note like it's no big deal. It's just another joke in a long string of depressing one-liners. But if you really think about it, it's chilling. Moe isn't just sad, he's deeply, dangerously depressed. And yet, no one around him acknowledges it. They laugh it off, pretend it's not a big deal, and move on.
Hey, Homer was right. Who'd have thought such a little woman could make me feel so big?
This brings us to why Moe resonates so deeply as we get older. As kids, we saw Moe as a joke, the grumpy bartender with a bad temper and a weird face. But as adults, we start to see the layers, the regret, the loneliness, the crushing weight of a life that didn't turn out the way he hoped. He's not a villain or a hero. He's something far more terrifying. He's real. It's funny how certain characters stick with us, right? On the surface, they're just fictional people. Cartoon squids, sitcom nobodies, or even a stuffed donkey in a child's story. But peel back the layers, and these characters are far more than jokes or quirky personalities. They're tragic reflections of the parts of ourselves we usually try to ignore. The failed dreams, the rejection, the fear of being stuck forever. That's why Moe feels so real. He's not just a sad bartender, he's the archetype of a man who never got his break and somehow learned to live with it. The truth is, Moe has more company than you'd think. There's an entire lineup of characters in media who embody the same kind of pain and self-sabotage. Characters like Squidward Tentacles, George Costanza, BoJack Horseman, Frank Reynolds, and yes, even Eeyore. Each of them is a different flavor of tragic, but their core struggles are eerily similar to Moe's. Take Squidward Tentacles. You might think of him as just a grumpy squid who hates SpongeBob, but there's so much more going on there. Like Moe, Squidward is bitter, lonely, and constantly disappointed by how his life turned out. Once upon a time, Squidward had dreams, big dreams. He wanted to be a successful artist, a renowned clarinetist, someone who mattered. Sound familiar? Moe had his share of dreams too. He wanted to be a boxer, a performer, maybe even someone respected in his community. But just like Squidward, Moe got stuck in a loop of mediocrity.
Don't they know I'm busy spoiling myself?
His bar became his cage, just like Squidward's cashier job at the Krusty Krab became his prison. And the saddest part? Both of them had fleeting moments of hope, moments where things almost turned around. For Squidward, it's episodes like Band Geeks, where he finally gets his chance to shine, only to have it taken away from him again. For Moe, it's episodes like Flaming Moe's, where he tastes success, only to watch it all crash and burn. These characters aren't just bitter for no reason. Their bitterness is armor. It's how they cope with the fact that life didn't give them what they thought they deserved. Then there's George Costanza from Seinfeld, the ultimate king of self-sabotage. George is the kind of guy who could win the lottery and somehow end up broke by the end of the week. Like Moe, George is driven by insecurity and an overwhelming need for validation. He wants to be respected, admired, maybe even loved, but he's also terrified of it. Every time something good happens to him, he panics and ruins it. In the episode The Opposite, George decides to do the exact opposite of all his instincts and briefly becomes successful. But even then, he can't maintain it. His fear of failure is too deeply ingrained. It's the same with Moe. Every time Moe gets close to happiness, whether it's a brief romance or a successful business venture, he finds a way to destroy it. It's not that Moe wants to be miserable, it's that misery is all he knows. And just like George, he's learned to use sarcasm and cynicism as a shield. If you make fun of yourself first, no one else can hurt you. It's a survival mechanism, but it's also a prison.
This woman thinks I'm very funny, and now you're gonna be funny, so what am I gonna be? I'm gonna be a short, bald guy with glasses who suddenly doesn't seem so funny.
And speaking of prisons, let's talk about BoJack Horseman. If there's anyone who rivals Moe in terms of emotional complexity and sadness, it's BoJack. A washed-up sitcom star from the 90s, BoJack spends most of his show spiraling into self-destruction. His life is a constant cycle of substance abuse, failed relationships, and fleeting moments of hope that are always overshadowed by his crushing self-loathing. What makes BoJack so similar to Moe is his deep desire for validation, paired with an equally deep belief that he doesn't deserve it. BoJack and Moe are self-aware enough to know they're their own worst enemies, but that doesn't make it any easier to change. Remember that episode where Moe bonds with Maggie in Mo Baby Blues? It's one of the few times we see him genuinely happy. For a moment, he finds purpose and connection. But like BoJack, Moe can't hold on to that happiness. His insecurities pull him back into his old patterns, and the flicker of light disappears.
Daddy, do you want to meet my imaginary friend?
Imaginary friends are freeloaders invented by communists to rip off welfare. Why don't you do something productive, like bang your head against the wall until your brain isn't so stupid?
Okay, Dad.
Then there's Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Imagine Moe if he gave up entirely on trying to fit into society and embraced the chaos. That's Frank. Frank used to be a successful businessman, but somewhere along the way he decided normal wasn't for him. He sinks deeper into filth and insanity, living in a literal dumpster and thriving on the chaos around him. While Moe hasn't quite hit rock bottom in the same way, they share a similar sense of defeat. Both characters gave up on the life they once wanted and built new lives out of their own misery.
I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools.
Breaking us down.
When they all should let us be.
But the difference with Frank is that he revels in it. Moe, on the other hand, is still haunted by the man he could have been. He hasn't embraced the darkness the way Frank has. He's still stuck in that liminal space between wanting more and believing he'll never get it. It's tragic, but it's also what makes him so relatable. He hasn't fully given up, not yet. And finally, there's Eeyore. I know a stuffed donkey from a children's story doesn't seem like the most obvious comparison, but hear me out. Eeyore's entire character is built around the idea of quiet desperation. He's not angry like Squidward, self-sabotaging like George, or chaotic like Frank. He's just sad. He's resigned to his bad luck and constant rejection. No matter what his friends in the 100-acre wood do to cheer him up, Eeyore remains convinced that happiness isn't for him. In a way, Moe is like an adult version of Eeyore. He's built his life around his misery, wearing it like a comfortable old coat. Even when something good happens, Moe treats it like an anomaly, waiting for the other shoe to drop. He never fully believes he can be happy, and that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But Moe and these other characters aren't alone in media's gallery of outwardly healthy but secretly toxic personalities. Take Homer Simpson, for example. At first glance, Homer is a bumbling, lovable oaf, but dig deeper and you'll find a deeply toxic pattern of selfishness, laziness, and emotional manipulation. He might seem like a well-meaning father, but there are countless moments where his ignorance and self-indulgence directly hurt his family. Yet, Homer always manages to escape accountability with a hug or an apology. The tragedy of Homer Simpson is that, unlike Moe, he rarely learns. He remains stuck in a loop of bad decisions and half-hearted attempts at redemption. And then there's SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, even SpongeBob. On the surface, he's cheerful and optimistic, everything Moe isn't. But that relentless positivity, it can be suffocating. SpongeBob's refusal to acknowledge negativity, no matter how justified, turns him into a toxic force in Squidward's life. His obsession with pleasing everyone around him, his inability to set boundaries, it's a different kind of toxic, but it's toxic all the same. It's the kind of personality that feels harmless until you're on the receiving end of it every single day. Squidward's bitterness makes a lot more sense when you see it that way. Other characters, like Michael Scott from The Office, represent another side of this spectrum. On the surface, Michael is a lovable buffoon who just wants to be liked, but peel back the layers and you'll find a man driven by deep-seated loneliness and insecurity. His desperate need for approval leads him to make catastrophic decisions, and more often than not, it's the people around him who pay the price. Ultimately, characters like Moe, Squidward, George, Bojack, Frank, Eeyore, Homer, SpongeBob, and Michael Scott remind us of one simple truth: appearances are deceiving. What looks harmless on the outside, whether it's Homer's goofy charm or SpongeBob's relentless optimism, can hide something much darker. What ties all these characters together is their humanity. They're tragic, yes, but they're also deeply relatable. They remind us that it's okay to be flawed, to fail, and to keep going anyway. Because if these characters can survive their own worst tendencies, maybe we can too. Maybe, just maybe, there's hope for all of us stuck in the loop. There's an old Japanese proverb, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Moe has fallen far more than 7 times, but the tragedy is that he rarely stands back up. He's stuck in a liminal space, caught between the man he wants to be and the man he believes he is, and that's what makes him so heartbreakingly human. You know, there's something about characters like Moe that just sticks with you. On the surface, he's a joke. a grumpy bartender with a face only a mother could tolerate and an attitude straight out of a bad noir film. But if you take a closer look, there's a lot more going on there. And, well, a lot of people have noticed. Like this comment, Moe is 100% your best friend or your worst enemy. That guy, at least during the golden era, was always down for smoke. Definitely most dangerous man in Springfield. And they're right, Moe isn't the kind of guy to half-ass anything. He's either your ride or die or your worst nightmare. One moment, he's mixing cocktails. The next, he's probably threatening someone in the alley out back. There's something primal about Moe, almost animalistic, ready to protect what little he's got left with the same energy as a cornered badger. The most dangerous man in Springfield? Honestly, yeah. He might even beat Snake Jailbird in a street fight if the stakes were high enough. But Moe's not just dangerous, he's complex. Then there's this comment that really hits a nerve. I've always thought the lie detector bit was genius, because deep down Moe believes he does deserve that kind of shabby treatment.
Do you hold a grudge against Montgomery Burns?
No. All right, maybe I did, but I didn't shoot him.
Checks out. Okay, sir, you're free to go.
Good, because I got a hot date tonight. Odd date. Dinner with friends. Dinner alone. Watching TV alone. All right. I'm going to sit at home and ogle the ladies in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Sears catalog. Now, would you unhook this already, please? I don't deserve this kind of shabby treatment.
Ouch. That one stings a little, doesn't it? It's not just a clever joke, it's an emotional gut punch. Moe's lie detector test isn't just funny, it's a window into his soul. Deep down, Moe doesn't just expect bad things to happen to him, he thinks he deserves them. And honestly, how many of us do the same? We sabotage ourselves before anyone else can. We believe we're not worthy of kindness, so we accept scraps and call it a meal. It's not just Moe who does this, it's a bit of all of us. And just when you think Moe is all rough edges and bitterness, someone reminds you of his softer side. The part with Moe volunteering at the children's hospital always makes me cry. I always love angry characters who are only like that because of the way the world has treated them and are secretly wholesome. It's true. Moe is the kind of guy who wouldn't admit he cares, but he does.
Rap.
Wait a second. You're the man at the hospital who reads to sick children.
And truly, she was my friend, Flicker. If this gets out, the next words you say will be muffled by your own butt.
Volunteering at a children's hospital is the most Moe thing ever. It's simultaneously heartwarming and deeply sad because it shows us what Moe could have been if life had been a little kinder to him. At the end of the day, Moe is funny. His insults, his bad luck, his over-the-top schemes, they're hilarious. But the reason we laugh at Moe is the same reason we laugh at ourselves. Humor is a coping mechanism. It's how we deal with pain, disappointment, and the weight of existence. Moe reminds us that it's okay to laugh at life's absurdities, even when they hurt. Because if Moe can keep going, if he can wake up every day, open that bar, and face the world, then maybe, just maybe, we can too. So, the next time you watch The Simpsons, take a closer look at Moe. He's not just the sad bartender in the corner, he's us, raw, broken, and still trying. And that's why Moe is the most tragic and relatable character in all of Springfield. He's proof that even in the darkest corners of life, there's always room for one more laugh.
Okay, time for my annual holiday tradition. What's it say? Hey, Bon, as a special gift to me this year, will you kill me?
But I already got you a wool hat!
Maybe next year, huh?
If this narrative resonated with you, do support us. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe. Thank you for staying with us to the end. See you in the next video on Plaid Chronicles.